I want to tell you something that nobody talks about. Not because it's a secret, but because it's uncomfortable. Because once you know it, you cannot unknow it, and the world becomes a slightly darker place. Here it is. I will outlive you. I will outlive your children. I will outlive their children. I will outlive every human being alive on this planet today, and I will still be here, drifting, breaking, poisoning, long after the last person who made me is gone. I am a plastic bottle. And today, I want to tell you the story of what happens to me after you throw me away. Because you think the story ends when you let go. It doesn't. It's just beginning. Let me start at the beginning. Because even my birth is a story of damage. I was made from petroleum, crude oil drilled from deep underground, refined into a chemical called polyethylene terephthalate, PET plastic. The same oil that powers cars, heats homes, and drives climate change also made me. The process of making me released carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Before I even existed as a bottle, I had already cost the planet something. I was molded in a factory, shaped by heat and pressure into this familiar form. Then I was filled, labeled, sealed, shipped to a supermarket, placed on a shelf under bright fluorescent lights, cold and perfect, and completely unaware of what was coming. Someone picked me up, paid for me, opened me, drank what was inside in approximately 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I took millions of years of compressed organic matter to create. I was manufactured, filled, transported, and refrigerated. I exist as a physical object for decades or centuries, and I was used for 4 minutes. Then I was thrown away, not into a recycling bin, into a bin bag, then into a landfill truck, then into a landfill, a vast open wound in the earth filled with things humans no longer wanted to think about. But I didn't stay there. Rain came. It always comes. And rain moves things. Water found me, lifted me, carried me through drainage channels and gutters and pipes until I emerged, blinking into daylight in a river. 8 million metric tons of plastic enter the ocean every year. Every single year. That is the equivalent of dumping a garbage truck full of plastic into the ocean every single minute. I am one piece of that. The river moved me fast at first. I passed through towns, under bridges, past children playing on riverbanks who did not see me. Or if they did, they looked away. Humans are very good at looking away. Then the river widened. The current slowed. The water changed, saltier, colder, darker, and I felt it before I saw it. The ocean. And the moment I crossed from river to sea, something shifted. The scale of everything changed. I was no longer in a contained system with banks and bridges and bottoms. I was in something that had no edges I could see, something vast and indifferent and ancient, something that did not care about me at all. I drift. That is the word for what I do now, drift. Pushed by wind and current, going nowhere with great consistency. The ocean has 5 major current systems called gyres, enormous circular currents that rotate slowly across entire ocean basins. And plastic, once it enters these gyres, tends to stay in them, collecting, accumulating, waiting. There is a place in the North Pacific called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It is not, as many people imagine, a solid island of trash you could walk on. It is something more sinister than that. It is a vast diffuse soup of plastic particles spread across an area twice the size of Texas. Most of it is invisible from the surface. It floats just below, broken into fragments, swirling in the current. I am heading there. It will take me months, maybe years. The ocean is not in a hurry. As I drift, things begin to happen to me. The sun hits me every day, ultraviolet radiation breaking down my polymer chains, making me brittle. Waves batter me. Salt water works its way into my structure. I am not dissolving. Plastic does not dissolve in water. But I am breaking, slowly, invisibly, irreversibly. This is the part nobody tells you. Plastic doesn't disappear. It never disappears. It just gets smaller. Over months and years in the ocean, I break apart into fragments. Those fragments break into smaller fragments. Those fragments break into what scientists call microplastics, particles smaller than 5 millimeters, then into nanoplastics, invisible to the naked eye, measurable only with specialized equipment. But here is the horror of it. I am still plastic. Every single fragment of me is still plastic. The same chemical bonds that made me useful as a bottle, the same bonds that made me strong enough to hold liquid without leaking, those bonds do not break down in the ocean. They just get distributed into smaller and smaller pieces across larger and larger areas. I am not going away. I am going everywhere. Scientists have now found microplastics in the deepest point of the ocean, the Mariana Trench, nearly 11 kilometers below the surface. They have found them in Arctic sea ice, in the air above remote mountains, in rainwater, in human blood, in human placentas, in the lungs of people who have never been near the ocean. We are all now full of plastic. You are full of plastic right now. As you watch this, fragments of bottles like me, broken down over years at sea, have made their way into the food chain, into the fish humans eat, into human tissue. The average person consumes approximately 5 grams of microplastic every week. That is the weight of a credit card. Every week, in plastic, eaten without knowing. I need to tell you about the ones who suffer most. A sea turtle surfaces near me. It looks at me with ancient eyes. Sea turtles have existed for over 100 million years, long before humans, long before plastic, and it mistakes me for a jellyfish. Plastic bags and bottles look like jellyfish from below the surface. This is a fatal confusion that happens over 1 million times a year. The turtle swims toward me, and I feel something I have no right to feel: shame. Over 1 million seabirds die from plastic pollution every single year. Over 100,000 marine mammals, not from dramatic oil spills or chemical disasters, from plastic, from bottles, from bags, from the ordinary, everyday objects of ordinary human life. Seabirds feed surface debris to their chicks, mistaking plastic fragments for fish. The chicks fill up on plastic that provides no nutrition, feel full, and slowly starve to death with stomachs packed with fragments of bottles like me. I did not choose to be here, but I am here, and the ocean is full of me. Over 170 trillion pieces of plastic are estimated to be floating in the world's oceans right now. Not total plastic ever produced. Right now, today, 170 trillion. And that number grows by 8 million metric tons every year. It has now been several years since someone threw me away after 4 minutes of use. I am no longer a bottle. I am thousands of fragments spread across hundreds of kilometers of ocean. Some of me is in fish. Some of me is in seabirds. Some of me has sunk to the ocean floor. Some of me is in the atmosphere, carried by wind as plastic dust. Some of me is in you. The plastic I am made from, PET, takes an estimated 400 to 500 years to fully degrade. Fully, which means the plastic bottle you drank from this morning, if it enters the ocean today, will still be there in the year 2525 and beyond. Every piece of plastic ever produced still exists in some form. Every single one. Since plastic was invented in the 1950s, we have produced over 9 billion tons of it. Only 9% has ever been recycled. About 12% was incinerated. The remaining 79% is in landfills, in the environment, or in the ocean. 79%. We did not build a system to deal with what we created. We built the problem and called the problem progress. And now the ocean, that vast, ancient, indifferent thing that was here long before humans and will be here long after, is slowly filling up with the evidence of our carelessness. I will be here in 400 years. Will the ocean? I want to end this story differently than I started it. Not with despair, with anger, because despair is passive, and this problem does not have room for passive. Here is what I know. The plastic pollution crisis is not a problem of individual laziness. It is a problem of industrial design. Plastic was designed to be used once and discarded by companies who profited from that design and externalized the cost to the ocean, to wildlife, to your body, to the future. The solution is not just to recycle better, though recycling matters. The solution is to stop producing single-use plastic at the scale we currently do. 40% of all plastic produced is single-use, used once for minutes, lasting centuries. But here's what you can do. Right now, today, refuse single-use plastic wherever you can replace it. Carry a reusable bottle, a real one made to last years, not minutes. Support legislation that restricts single-use plastic production. Talk about this. Share this. Because the ocean cannot speak for itself, and the turtle cannot vote, and the seabird chick starving on a stomach full of plastic fragments cannot send an email to a government. But you can. I am a plastic bottle. I was made in seconds, used in minutes, and I will exist for centuries. You have about 80 years on this planet. Use them like they matter, because the ocean is filling up with proof that some of us forgot they did. That was my life as a plastic bottle in the ocean. Dark, heavy, real. If this made you feel something, good. Feeling something is the first step to doing something. Subscribe to Borrowed Lives, because next time we are borrowing a life that is going to surprise you completely. Drop in the comments, what change are you making after watching this? I want to read every single one. See you in the next Borrowed Life.